Welcome to the Quiet Your Inner Mean Girl podcast, a place for you to find the courage you need to take the first step and every step thereafter to create the habits, the confidence, and the life that you love. I'm your host, health and life coach, Abby Hegney. Let's dive in. Welcome back to episode 16. How are you doing today? I am doing great. This week, I got to celebrate a final session with one of my clients, and they are just my favorite because they are all about celebrating. And fortunately, I don't have to say goodbye to this client because she's going to continue coaching with me in a different capacity. But I did want to take a moment to shout her out. It really has been the greatest honor to coach her every week and to watch her transform every aspect of her life. She started coaching with me during a huge transition in her life. Even she said during her consultation call that her life was upside down and it just felt like a churn and burn. And listen, most people would have told themselves that they were too busy for coaching, that they didn't have the time. They wouldn't have believed that the time they did have was enough for coaching, let alone enough to make any change in their life. And they would have continued to drown in the churn and burn. But my client knew that it could be better. She knew that she could feel better. And she knew that coaching would help her get through this transition better than she could doing it alone. 6 months ago, she felt like life was happening to her and she was just swirling in the chaos. And this week, she came to our call celebrating how confident, grounded, and in control she feels. Oh, it's just so good. I'm so proud of her and I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of her journey. And as we were closing her final session and all of the reflecting and celebrating that we do during that final session, she said to me, and I'm going to read this. I wrote it all down and I want to read it to you because I don't want to miss anything. She said, since coaching with you, I feel so grounded. I went from feeling so stressed and spiraling in chaos to feeling confident and in control. I've learned to quiet my inner mean girl and am now able to filter out the noise. This shift is huge. I'm less stressed and I have created more space for me. I feel confident and the conscious decisions you have helped me to make are so powerful. I am a better mom than I was 6 months ago, and I'm bringing my kids along with me. I have a better relationship with my husband and myself. I'm setting and honoring boundaries, and it just feels really, really good. Oh my gosh. So good. This is the transformation that is available to you too. And I just want to offer that if you are like my client and you feel like life is happening to you and you are swirling in chaos more than you feel grounded and in control, I want to invite you to join me in Confident Mind and Body. Over the time that we work together, you will curate the life that you want by making conscious decisions that move you closer to where you want to be. We work with decisions that work with your life, with the time that you have available, because what you can do today is always enough. And I hope that this reflection and this celebration from my client shows you that it is enough. And we're going to talk about enoughness today. But if this is you, if my client's story resonates with you, or you know that you want more from your life, you want to feel better, you want to feel more grounded or more confident or more in control, schedule a free consultation. What we do during that consultation call is talk about exactly where you are right now and where you want to be. And then once I know the details of those two aspects of your life, I get to give you a roadmap that will help you to break down the barriers that you're currently facing and clear a path for you to get to where you want to be and to do it simpler and easier than ever before. And then at the end of that call, we decide if working together is the right choice for you. So you can visit my website, wellnesswithabbyh.com, to schedule a free consultation, or go to the episode details and you can find the direct link for a consultation call there. All right, so let's dive in to enoughness. This is something that's been coming up a lot lately on my client calls. And I know that it's something that came up for me a lot as well. When I was struggling with feeling confident in my body, my inner mean girl would always tell me it wasn't enough. I wasn't tall enough. I wasn't skinny enough. My legs weren't thin enough. My stomach wasn't flat enough. I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't working out enough. I wasn't good enough. When I had my kids, my inner mean girl told me that I wasn't spending enough time with them. I wasn't spending enough time with my husband. I wasn't spending enough time with my friends. I used to work well into the night because she would tell me that the hours that I had in the day weren't enough. The house is never clean enough. You don't have enough time for yourself. You don't have enough time for everything you have to do, everything that you want to do. The list goes on and on and on. And it will continue to go on and on and on as long as you believe it's not enough. When you tell yourself that it's not enough, what you are saying is that it has to be more. You need more time. You need more energy. You need to work more. You need to be more consistent. You have to do more. It's a lack of trust and confidence in yourself. The same client that I just celebrated at the start of this episode said to me, I used to think that I had to do it all. Now I see that it was just an insecurity I used to have. You helped me to let go of that and to find confidence in myself. We think doing more will prove that we are capable. But all it really does is create stress and anxiety that continues to build over time. It creates more lack and more insecurity because it feels so hard. We don't think that we'll be able to do it. We lose our confidence. We start to doubt ourselves more. When it's never enough, when you always need to be doing more, you never give it the chance to come down. And maybe you can sustain that in the short term. Maybe it motivates you into action. Maybe it gets you started, but it's impossible to sustain for the long term. It's too hard. It's too frustrating. You feel disappointed and discouraged, and eventually you give up. You burn out, whatever burnout looks for you. And that looks different for all of us. It shows up differently for all of us. But in the end, it's you not going after your goals. And yet, most of us never think about what enough is. I asked each of my clients this week who were struggling with it not being enough what enough means to them. Not one of them could answer that question in the moment. In fact, every one of them said they had never thought about it. Most of us don't. I never did. Sometimes I still have to check myself. But until you know what enough is, you will always be chasing more. It will never be enough. You'll have no way of knowing when you get there if you don't know where there is. You won't even know what to look for. You'll miss all of the things along the way that could have a huge impact on your life if you allowed yourself to see them, if you allowed them to be enough. It will never be enough until you allow it to be enough. So, for this episode, I looked up the definition of enough. I wanted to see what it would say. And the dictionary definition of enough is sufficient, all that is required, needed, or appropriate. It's very vague, which is exactly how we approach it in our lives. We tell ourselves we don't have enough time. We're not doing enough. We aren't enough without ever getting clear on what enough is. When you tell yourself it's not enough, you will always feel behind. And let me tell you, your inner mean girl thrives on you believing that you are behind. It is fuel to her fire. When you believe you are behind, she's going to offer you up every tiny piece of evidence that proves that you are, in fact, behind. And yet, when you are simply telling yourself it's not enough and you don't know what you're looking for, you will always feel behind. You may actually be further along than you thought you were, but there is no way to see that when you're telling yourself you aren't doing enough. When you believe it's not enough, you disregard every small step along the way. You disregard the small steps that actually work with your life, with your schedule, and the busy and the time that you have available to you today. You miss those small steps that compound over time, the small steps that are more than enough. They're more than enough because they get you started. They prove that you can do it. You can do something, and something will always move you further along than doing nothing. These small steps show you how good it can feel. They show you how good you can feel. They quiet your inner mean girl and they motivate you to come back. Thinking you need to do more when you already feel like you are doing so much is not motivating. It's far from it. It's why most people give up on their goals before they ever have a chance to get close to realizing it. Just think about if you have ever felt this way, if you have ever thought to yourself, I'm doing so much and I'm not making any progress. We change that inside of Confident Mind and Body. Your life doesn't need to change for it to change, but you do need to quiet your inner mean girl. You need to get clear on what enough is for you, what enough looks like for you today. Because enough today may look different than enough tomorrow. And that's okay. Because when you are clear on what enough is, you'll feel proud of how you showed up. You'll feel motivated to come back for more. You'll keep coming back for more. You will value the small steps that you take because you can see how they are moving you closer to where you want to be. Or you'll see that maybe you didn't do what you wanted to do, or you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And now, even when things don't go as planned, even when you didn't show up as you expected, you have something that you can work with. You have something that you can learn from, that you can do differently. And learning from and modifying and showing up differently is progress. When you believe that what you can do today is enough, it will always be something. It's a big step, it's a medium step, it's a small step, it's a conscious decision that moves you forward. It's always enough. It's more than enough. You just have to allow for it to be enough. And when you are clear on what enough is, it will be so much easier to allow for it, to see it, and to celebrate it. So, my friend, this week, allow what you can do today to be enough. Celebrate the fact that you were able to quiet your inner mean girl and show up. Notice how good it feels to trust yourself, to trust that you are figuring it out, and to show up trusting the process and trusting the progress that you are making. All right. So go out there, get clear on what enough is for you. Allow what you can do today to be enough. And let's see how far these small steps take you. All right, my friends, I will talk to you next week. Bye. If you are ready to quiet your inner mean girl, I invite you to join me inside Confident Mind and Body, my private coaching program, where you will learn to quiet your inner mean girl and create the habits, the confidence, and the life that you love. Just visit wellnesswithabbyh.com and schedule a free consultation.